Hi, my name is Jessica Mendoza. Today I will be going over my project of analyzing a Supreme Court case for business law. The Supreme Court case I chose is Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954. Essentially, the Supreme Court case is fighting against the 14th Amendment to protect the rights of citizens and guaranteed equal protection under the law. This court case started off by a group of Black parents going to court to get their students enrolled in a school that was much closer to them. However, the school that was closer to their home was primarily for white children and only for white children. And so when they tried to enroll their kids, they got rejected, and they saw that as unfair. They took the case to court to see if they could win. The main issue, it challenged racial segregation in public schools. The case argued that segregation created inherently unequal education opportunities for the children. Opinions. Many believe separate but equal has no place in the education system. Segregation harmed Black children's self-perception and education development. The Supreme Court issued a unanimous 9-0 majority opinion, meaning there was no official dissenting. This means that they all agreed together that there was no place for separate but equal when it came to the education system. Segregating schools harmed Black children's self-esteem. There was a psychological research with Dr. Kenneth Clark called the doll test. And essentially what they did is they grabbed all different types of children, age, gender, race, and they held a white baby doll in front of them and a Black baby doll in front of them, and they had the children pick which one they wanted to be. And majority of them chose the white doll because of the attributes that they saw towards it. Ultimate ruling is school segregation violated the 14th Amendment. On May 17th in 1954, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren delivered the unanimous ruling in the landmark civil rights case Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. State sanctified segregation of public schools was a violation of the 14th Amendment and therefore was unconstitutional. Even when the facilities are equal, it violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. There is no way around this. Key issues: constitutionality of racial segregation in school. It's unconstitutional to have racial segregated schools. The physiological impact on segregating took a toll on the Black children. Black children received a lower education and care versus the white children. It was affecting their growth and their knowledge. The role of the federal government in enforcing civil rights. Southern states fought and resisted for the implementation of no longer having segregated schools. After the government had to interfere, all the states came together and abided by the new law. Impact. This was a huge victory for the civil rights movement. It led to nationwide desegregation efforts. It inspired further legal battles for racial inequity, and it set the stage for the Civil Rights Act of 1964. What I learned: legal battles are essential for civil rights progress, and there is importance and persistence of fighting for equality. We have to fight for our freedom. Being persistent is so important. It took 5 separate cases to build up Brown versus the Board of Education. We have to stand up for what we believe in and not be afraid to fight. Even if somebody has fought and lost before, going up and standing up for what you believe in can lead to success and can lead to winning. And Brown versus the Board of Education is a great example of that. I also was unaware that states resisted this for years. I maybe should have known that. I always thought there was a little backlash towards it, but I didn't know how long and severe the states that were resisting it took place. Interesting facts. I touched on it a little bit, but the case combined of 5 different lawsuits from different states. Those states included Kansas, South Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, and Washington. Each state challenged a racial segregation in public school, and they grouped together under the Brown decision because they all dealt with the same issue of the 14th Amendment. Another interesting fact is the ruling significantly influenced future cases in addressing racial discrimination in other aspects of society. It set up the civil rights movement for 1964, and there was great success in that. Something else that I think is just fun and can add a little bit of excitement is this clip of this Forrest Gump movie, and it shows two black girls entering the school for the first time after Brown versus the Board of Education. And so now that you have a little context, we can watch that clip.
And so at day's end, the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa had been desegregated, and students Jimmy Hood and Vivian Malone had been signed up for summer classes.
Ma'am, you dropped your book. Ma'am.
Governor Wallace did what he promised to do. By being on the Tuscaloosa campus, he kept the mob from gathering.
And that is all I have for Brown versus the Board of Education. These are all my sources that I used, and I hope you learned something a little bit more today.